Hello everyone, Alec DeLorean here, and I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Now today we have 5 tips for K-A0S to help new players, players coming to PC, or even veteran players who just want to see if any of these tips apply to them. But as always, if there are any tips that you don't see in this video that you think would be useful for me or anyone else watching, then be sure to comment them down below. But before we get into it, if you would like to join the Patreon or Discord, the links are in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, this content and all things Star Wars related, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the video. Okay, so 5 tips for K-A0S. The first one is the best use of her combinations. So the combination of her abilities are lunged uppercut into backhand. So she has 2 main abilities, which are lunged uppercut and backhand, and the best, I've tried doing them back the other way around and it doesn't really work as well because you backhand them and a lot of the times they go too far away for lunged uppercut to be viable. So I always like to do lunged uppercut to get close to the enemies as you dash into them and knock them into the air, and then you use your backhand. Even better, use your backhand them into a wall next to you and they don't go too far, so then you can just continue dealing damage to them. But that's the best combination of abilities, and with that, saying that, it is super satisfying to do. Like, you can, with these 2 abilities, I think it's Reeve and Scorer, where if you hit them with both of these abilities, you kill them. They can't do anything about it. It's so good. It is so good. And then tip number 2 is, if you can, do not melee at all. Like, if you've got no shield and you can't pull out your pistol, then yes, go melee because that's the only thing you can do. But the melee damage is so slow to hit, and the damage per hit is nothing compared to her pistol. So her main damage output is her pistol, and you want to be using that, or you want to be doing that as much as you can, because her pistol is actually pretty decent. It melts, especially if you can hit those headshots. But the melee, I think it's like 40 per hit, but it's like so it's like by the time you've done 3 hits, you're probably dead at that point. So yeah, just if you lose your shield, the best thing I recommend is probably get out of there. Like go away, go heal, go recharge your shield, recoup, and then go back into the fight. Then number 3 is Bulwark Shield doesn't regenerate while you have it up. So if you're not in a fight, put them down. So I say this where when I first started playing K-A0S, I just always had my shield up. I was in a fight, yeah, great, we won the fight, but I had like 50 health left on my shield. But I was still there looking around, trying to like, all right, who's the next fight? I can do this. And then by the time I come to the next fight, my shield just melts like that and I die. So once you win the fight, put your shields down, run around as normal, and then let your shield come back, because it's kind of like Sentinels. Sentinel's shield needs to regenerate. It's the same as K-A0S. So if you're not in a fight, put your shields down. Because I think, as well, you actually move slightly a bit faster when your shield isn't up. Then tip number 4 is backhand is always fantastic to knock people off the map, as it's a far pushback. Now, I only say this because, yeah, you're going to use it to hit people off, but I don't think people realize how far the pushback is. It's insane. If you're not near the edge, but you're fighting and it's just off to the side, what I like to do is try to angle myself in a position where you could fling them off the map. Like, it's really good on Vandal Rail Yard, near the train where the edge is, because they go flying off the map. It's obviously really good on Vader's Castle, but that's quite obvious, and it's very easy to knock people off with K-A0S. But there's other maps where you might be fighting but not really close to the edge, but in an area where K-A0S is able to knock you off, and it catches people off guard and you're like, oh, what a play kind of feeling. It's great. And then tip number 5 is just to not be afraid to use your ultimate during small fights. There's a lot of times when I see people, including myself, where I'm holding onto my ultimate to get that big play with K-A0S. Oh my god, I've killed 4 people. That's insane. I've completely changed the tide of the match. Not exactly. When she uses her ultimate, she is very vulnerable. She doesn't have a shield, so everyone can just shoot at her whilst you're using her ultimate. So it's best, I feel like it's kind of best to save it for 3 and 4 enemies, unless you come up behind them and they don't notice it. But yeah, if you're in the heat of the moment and you're against 4 people, sometimes I don't use it then. But yeah, small fights is fantastic her ultimate because yeah, it actually shreds enemies' healths. And there you go. There are my 5 tips for Chaos. Hopefully they are useful to you and any new players or veteran players. If you use any of these tips, hopefully they help you. And like I said before, if you don't see any tips in this list but you have a tip for Chaos, be sure to comment it below to let me know, as it might help me or someone else in the community get better with Chaos. But I won't keep you any longer, so if you would like to join the Patreon or Discord, the links are in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, this content and all things Star Wars related, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.